Abimbola Bello.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Abimbola. Good morning, Joy. I'm happy this morning. I have fuel in my car. But it was very, very expensive. When I bought that car, I used to fill it up with 8,000 naira. When Tinubu became president, it became 23,000. Yesterday, it was 42,000 at 868 naira per liter.
So, probably
I shouldn't even be smiling. What am I smiling about?
Well, you can't.
You said you are happy.
you know that fella song, Suffering
and Smiling.
This is about the time to start listening to that song over and over again. Yes, it might be a terrible situation. It might be a situation that is not worth smiling over. But hey, what do we do? Are we going to kill ourselves? There's so many people who cannot even afford to buy, who cannot afford to fuel their cars at the moment. I bought 25,000 naira fuel yesterday, and it wasn't even up to half tank. I know my car is above 40 liters capacity. And me that, if you know me, I'm an advocate of fuel your fuel as you use. I'm praying that I don't stop that, but I think it helps. But if you look at your pocket and you cannot afford to do that, it will end up putting more pressure on you when you now have to fuel the car when it's really below what it should be. I don't know how we're going to get past this, but let's see how this pans out. Majority of schools in Lagos resumed today, and I'm sure that's one of the stories we'll be taking a look at on the news points this morning. It's not funny with the transport fare, parents getting ready for their children to go back to school, a whole lot of things. Over the weekend, a lot of reality sunk in.
I was going to say,
so
I had
Joy has not. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
She hasn't.
Oh, so sorry.
I'm so
Welcome
sorry.
to the conversation. I am Joy Olu. It's understandable. This is what we are going through, so we can easily relate to it. Still talking about resumption. When she was talking about realities, school essentials. You have to buy lunch bag,
school bags.
Those things are not.
So here is the deal, and like I always say, if those things that you used last session are still in very good condition, perfect condition, use them. And I was going through a page, and somebody asked a question that, please, who invented new session with new back to school items?
Many of us, that was how we were brought up.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Many of us, when we were growing up, that was how we were brought up. But I'd advise parents to just live,
live within your means.
Within your means and live with today's reality.
And if you can afford to buy a school shoe that can be a size higher, that will be Bambi.
Thank God that people moved past that stage with
we are in that stage right now.
That stage.
And I know what it is. If we will get past it. We will get past it. But honestly, don't beat yourself. Don't kill yourself if you can't buy anything new. If those things you used last session are still very good, still in good shape, wash them, iron them. And the kids are good to go. And I think this is with the time that we also need to start telling our children not to expect new things every time. If you still have your shoes, your bags in very good condition, let us pack those things and go with them. So
a lot of parents, mothers too, have opted for
thrifts.
Yes.
Well, valid. If that's what your money can take, you'll be amazed that some thrifts are even more expensive. Oh yes.
Yes,
more
they are.
expensive than the new.
Oh yes.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Oh yes. Some thrift items are more expensive than new items, depending on that's where you hear Okrika get grade. All right, let's begin the show. Before we start, Paralympics Paris 2024 is also over. and our athletes did us proud. Last night, when the closing ceremony was going on, we looked through the position of Nigeria, and we came 40th.
40th, yeah.
In over 136 countries. It looks like we didn't achieve much, but we did. I mean, yes. We won how many gold? 3 gold at the end of the day. Yes. I think 3 silver and then 2 bronze medals.
We didn't come back and
we did well. Like the main Olympics.
We didn't win anything. So
that one was shameful, sure.
Let's take our news items for today. Since we are in the school's resumption season, Joy, you'd like to start?
Okay, back to school. Parents groan as fares spike over 70% amid dropout concerns. As schools resume for the 2024-2025 academic session amid rising inflation and economic challenges, most parents and guardians are grappling with the added burden of schools' decision to raise tuition fees, transportation costs, and other sundry expenses. According to investigations by this medium, it shows that most private schools have raised their fees between 50 and 70% and transportation by 100% following the rising cost of living. The hike is coming at a time when the disposable incomes of families are shrinking due to fuel subsidy removal and subsequent increases in pump price, which have spiral effect on prices of goods and cost of living. School proprietors have announced substantial fee increases to cope with the effect of fuel price hikes, increased transportation costs, and other overhead payable by students on resumption. We can go on and on and on, but in Edo and Kano, the state governments have postponed resumption dates indefinitely, citing the current situation of things in the country. Although it is a norm for most private schools to adjust fees at the beginning of every session, the current increment was due to the prevailing economic situation occasioned by rising inflation and an increase in petrol prices.
Well, know that Edo and Kano State have refused to allow their students to resume.
But they will still resume.
What are they waiting for?
You're just pushing the doom day.
Exactly.
You're just pushing it. You're just pushing it forward.
You're just pushing it
forward.
Because
whether or not they resume, even if the situation will get better, it's not going to go back to what it was. So why? I mean, you know, sometimes it feels like you're doing people a favor. And at the end of the day, let everybody just face the reality now and see how you can cope. It's a coping mechanism. And, you know, this is where that story Joy read, I really do not know why parents would allow their children to drop out of school. It's going to be just whatever it is you can afford is what you will do at the moment. If you need to change schools from a very expensive private school to a moderate private school, because I know some people that will say no, they would never take their children to public schools, but there are still some moderate private schools that their standards are still also very good. So why allow your children drop out? It will probably be you now shedding some of those things that you used to do as a parent. Maybe some of those perks that you enjoyed as a parent, you'd have to, you know, maybe shelve that for now. But this will not be any reason for any parent to allow their children not to go to school. What will they be doing at home? And then you will not even be there to homeschool them, because you'll probably also be going out to make a living. So who's going to be with them if peradventure you say they should not go to school?
I also want to add, you know, something for parents. You know, in these private schools, we indulge our kids, or we allow them join multiple extracurricular activities,
and that also
increases. Then you pay for school bus, and then you pay for after school. You know, I think it's now time where you have to now weigh things. You know, these curricular activities. If your children are involved in about 3 or 4, I think this is the right time to cut it down to like maybe 2 or 1, and then. I must tell you, my friend owns a school, and she said she has cancelled school bus.
Yeah, you know, I said in last week.
For this session, you know, henceforth, she can't do school bus anymore, because parents, when she had a meeting with them, during the holidays that look, that was even before this
scheme.
That look, I want to add more. And they said, no.
I'm waiting for the school to probably tell us that something, but I am begging. If they want me to stay alive, they should not cancel.
They should not cancel school.
They won't cancel, but there will be an increase.
They will have to increase.
There will be an increase.
They would have to increase. I totally agree that, because I am feeling the pain of having to buy fuel, and then talk of schools that would have to go to various places to pick up students. Maybe they would also now reduce the number of places they go to. I don't know, but I know that definitely there would be an increment in the prices. This one, you can't fight it. You can't fight it, because at the end of the day, they are doing me a great service. I can't do school runs now.
If you even look
how
at
to
it,
how, where to where.
If you decide to do the school runs yourself, the amount of
she can't.
fuel
I
you will
can't,
spend.
Joy. I don't want to die young.
She can't.
I can't. No. No. Let's move on. Let's move on.
I don't even want to think about it.
I don't even want to. No. I don't want to think about it. Except if I'm just going to Kukuma say, you know what, LTV, I am done. Let me go and resign and do stay at home mother. Okay, Adebimpe, let's take your story.
Okay, CSOs urge states to begin 70,000 wage payment. Notable civil society organizations have bemoaned the failure of some state governments to begin the payment of a 70,000 naira minimum wage more than a month after it was announced by the federal government. It was reported last week that despite the passage of a new minimum wage bill into law, only a few states have commenced the payment of a new wage to their respective civil servants. The House of Representatives Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity said that the issue will be deliberated upon when the National Assembly resumes from its annual vacation later this month. That's about it. This issue of minimum wage, I've said it. By the time the minimum wage still comes now, but they should pay, sha. They should pay. I know Adamawa has commenced. Edo started even before it was announced. He said it was a political thing, so at least they are paying it.
And yet they asked that students should not go back to school.
And they say students should not go back to school. We are waiting.
I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But I mean, it probably would now be more of an appeal. Because again, it's going to be of you can't even force the horse to go and drink water now. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's take our last story this morning. Marketers plan petrol import as NNPCL. Dangote's talks drag. The story says oil marketers may begin the importation of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, following the recent declaration by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited that it would only fully offtake the product from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery if the market prices of the commodity were higher than the pump prices in Nigeria. NNPC also declared that Dangote and other domestic refineries were free to sell directly to any marketer on a willing buyer, willing seller basis, adding that it had no desire or intention to become the distributor for any entity in a free market environment. I'm just going to jump and then go to this last one. Reacting to the slowdown in discussions between Dangote and NNPC, oil marketers stated that they would only source the product from wherever they found it cheaper, as this could be through importation. Of course, I will stop there. And so as it is, the marketers are now taking a second look at where they will source the product at a cheaper rate, meaning they could eventually dump the commodity coming from the Dangote refinery. Because according to them, it might not be cheaper. And again, it feels like an undertone here that indeed, truly, the subsidy is still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there. But I just want to make me understand how importation of fuel will be cheaper than
buying here.
Buying from a local refinery. I still don't understand.
I don't know. I think the facts. I'm not in that sector. I really don't know how it works. But I think the facts that the naira dollar thing is a problem is what the marketers are also trying to, because again, global forces, they say, are the ones who determine the prices of petrol and all of that. So I don't know how they will get it cheaper if they were importing.
Exactly.
And if Dangote should be selling,
is he selling in dollar or in naira?
In dollar to them, will he be selling in dollar to them? Since it's getting the crude in naira.
So
is he going to sell in dollar?
He should sell in naira.
There's just so much shrouded in this issue, and we just do hope that, you know, they will break it down for Nigerians to really understand what is going on here. Let's quickly take our hashtag for today. That is one of the trending stories on the X platform this morning. Saturday morning, news broke that the chief, Ajuri Ngelale, had resigned his position as special advisor to Mr. President as well as the presidential spokesman. And of course, that is still trending on the socials today. While some say he actually resigned, others said he was sacked and he was given a soft landing to resign his position. But we do know, of course, that there has been, you know, back and forth between Ajuri and Bayo Onanuga at the villa, and, you know, so many things running around as we speak. But the reasons Chief Ngelale gave was that there were health challenges that he needed to attend to, and he hopes to return, you know, hoping to return when time permits. What exactly is going on?
I've read all sorts of
all accounts
theories about his resignation. You know, it's like he has stepped on so many toes, so many high and mighty toes. The cabals in the Aso Villa, so he's paying for it.
Well,
we wish him well, because he said there are medical matters he needs to attend to.
I'm sure that for the first time in a long time, Ajuri will sleep well last night.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I heard things as trivial as, oh, he goes by Onanuga by name. Somebody who is old enough to be his father. Well, very trivial issues.
I know, right? Right, so that's our hashtag for today, as well as our news points this morning. We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, our first conversation will be here today, and we're taking a look at the ongoing, or of course, the recent fuel hike, matters arising, how are Nigerians coping? We just talked about how we are coping, but what exactly is going on in terms of how the federal government, the Dangote refinery and others are dealing with Nigerians, especially the communication aspect of this whole thing. Our guest is already around and he will be with us in a bit.